Never.
You gotta say it with
Okay.
pizzazz, enthusiasm, you
It's getting
know,
better all the time.
make it believable.
It's getting better all the time.
Oh, man.
Gold still over 4,000.
No,
It dropped back below.
yeah, just a little below.
'Cause I knew the
Last time I
dropping
checked.
back was just barely over it. Just
Sure?
a day or two
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
All right. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Board of County Commissioners meeting. Want to welcome everyone who's in attendance and also everyone watching on our live stream. We're going to begin tonight with our invocation. So I'm going to ask Reverend Randy Storch of Mount Beulah Baptist Church to come up.
If you bow your heads with me as we go to the Lord in a word of prayer this evening. Our Heavenly Father, I come before you at this moment, thanking you for this time that these are able to come together to discuss the business of this community. Today, on an election day, I ask that your perfect will be done in ordaining those that you have chosen to serve. Over 500 municipalities making decisions today, and Lord, we know you are in control of each setting. Tonight, Lord, I ask that you would give the wisdom of Solomon to these commissioners in their decisions, that you would grant them the heart of David, that it would be turned toward you in the decisions that they make. And then, Lord, the love of Christ himself toward each other, to those of this community. I do ask that you would bring peace to the decisions that are made this evening, and that everything be done decently and in order. Lord, I do ask your grace be upon this meeting and this time together. I ask these things in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
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 Thank you for that, Reverend Storch. All right, at this time I'm going to ask Mr. Woodburn if he will lead our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's stand, please.
How you doing, sir? Good. Excellent. Good to see you.
All right, thank you for that, Commissioner Woodburn.
There.
All right, we'll move on to our agenda, and I'm going to read our ethics statement. In accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matter coming before the board tonight? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any undue participation in the particular matter involved. So is there any conflict at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mims, second by Commissioner Gatewood. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. I entertain a motion to approve or make changes to the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mims, second by Commissioner Gatewood to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion on those items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, moving on down to appearances. First up, we have Mr. James Shaver, Office of Congressman Mark Harris.
Good evening. I'm coming in from Monroe today. I work on the Congressman's district staff. Congressman Mark Harris represents North Carolina's 8th district from Mecklenburg all the way down to Scotland and Robeson County. The district office, our primary responsibility is helping constituents with federal agencies. Now, right now, as I'm sure you're aware, the federal government's in a shutdown. We expect once that ends, there will be a bit of a backlog. If you have any constituents that contact you and need help with any federal agency, the IRS, Social Security, USDA, any other federal agency passports, we are able to help and would be happy to do so. I'm going to leave my contact information on the table outside. Again, I work in the Monroe office. We'd be happy to speak to you or any constituents if you have any questions, legislative or with a federal agency. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Are any questions for Mr. Shaver at this point?
Any end to the shutdown in sight?
So right now, the expectation is we're just waiting on the Senate to finish voting on it. There's no movement in the House to end the shutdown at this time, as they've already passed the continuing resolution.
Thank you.
I would like to extend a thank you for attending, and also to Congressman Harris. We'd love to have him anytime he's available to attend the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, up next we have Mr. Wendell Small, Facilities Report.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Vice Chairman, members of the Board of Commissioners, I come before you tonight to give you an update on the facilities of the County of Anson. I had Marina send you a bullet list of items I wanted to address tonight. To give you an update, I want to make sure I'm speaking into this mic.
You can pick it up so you don't have to bend over if that'll
Okay.
help you. Just pull the mic out of the thing.
Just pull the mic out. Okay. Just wait for a short period. Gotcha.
There you go.
I just don't. I have a loud voice already. I don't want to scare anybody. So first off, Mr. Sossman asked me to give an update to the board on the facilities hat that I wear. Of course, I'm also the Parks and Recreation Director. To start with the facilities, I want to go over our mission statement, vision statement, and our priorities for fiscal year 25-26. Our mission statement for Parks, Recreation, and Facilities is enhance the quality of life of our citizens. The vision statement is to promote economic development. Our priorities for fiscal year 25-26 have two major headings: employee workplace safety and energy efficiency. Under employee workplace safety, our priorities are roofing, fire alarm, security alarm, cameras, access control, and a ADA transition. Under energy efficiency, it's upgrades to our HVAC to move away from the Freon units of R22 to the new 401A or 401R Puron systems. Updates to our electrical systems, lighting, plumbing, and infrastructure. For projects that we've completed in recent time, we've made improvements to the detention center at the sheriff's office with upgrades to plumbing, electrical, lighting, and HVAC. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we've made a lot of improvements. Sealing and restriping the parking lot of DSS, Board of Elections, courthouse, and library. We've worked with Duke Energy to provide energy efficient lighting to our buildings. They have a rebate program for 4x2 lights, 2x2 lights, and large ceiling fans that we're getting ready to install at the EMS 911 center and also the farmers market. We've made several upgrades to make certain facilities more ADA compliant with the push button doors like at DSS and the Axe building. We've replaced the A block sliding doors at the jail or detention center. That's the more political term, detention center. That now the detention officers can just push a button to close the doors for a block. And just for your information, there are 6 blocks for inmates plus 7 to 8 single cells. We've replaced several HVAC units throughout all county facilities to go from the legacy R22 Freons to the current Puron units. There are only a few R22 units left, and I hope to fund those in future budgets to phase those out. I've installed new fire systems in the government center, law enforcement, DSS, and Board of Elections. We've provided hot water to the bathroom sinks of the courthouse for the first time. We've done below grade waterproofing to the Belt Building. We're currently in progress to do some below grade waterproofing to this building, the government center, and social services. We've made improvements to the pond at Little Park, which had a massive leak, and we've sealed that leak, and now it retains water. We've also provided high-speed internet with working with the IT department and Windstream to provide fiber optic to Little Park. So if we do upgrades and expansions in the future, we'll have fast internet to do so. And we've also made several improvements to the Anson County Farmers Market. We filled in a large sinkhole at the back of the lot that children could have fallen into. We've removed the concrete blocks that have impeded us from mowing the facility effectively. We're getting ready to put in the new ceiling fans that are free of charge from Duke Energy. We just have to pay for the electrician to wire it up. We've also helped with repairs to their HVAC system that keeps their vegetables cold or cool while they're in the process of selling them. We've made some repairs to the pavement and the concrete and to the we've removed the gates at their request, and we've made a change in the lighting. We've changed to more energy efficient lighting as well. So those are just a sample of projects that we've been working on in recent history. We did finish up our last ARPA project just over a year and a half ago. That was probably the most projects we had ever done for facilities at one time. In the past, we had always averaged about 3 to 4 projects per year for facilities, and because of our current situation with our being on the unit list of the LGC, we probably need to go back to that priority that when I go through my budget request process, that I just prioritize 3 or 4 projects per year. We try to meet with all the department heads to get their feedback and input on what the priorities are. And we know we can't budget for, or we also can't provide everything everybody wants. But we try to prioritize based on the priorities I mentioned earlier, and then in the budget process for fiscal year 26-27, we'll try to ask for 3 or 4 projects outside of our normal operating budget. Upcoming projects for fiscal year 25-26, what we're in now, we're currently making improvements to the detention center. They have these old Acorn valves for the sinks. We're replacing some of them with the newer version that should help with water pressure for some of the blocks. We are currently meeting with one of our engineers from SKA, and they're going to do assessment of some of the leaks that we have in the basement of the government center. And then we'll reach out to one of their vendors to look at sealing some of those leaks. And it's not hard to say this, but I just want to reiterate, the county operates a lot of old buildings, and we have a lot of old problems. And this building has not major leaks, but it does have 3 or 4 leaks that need to be addressed. And I've started off, when I became director of this department, or both departments, 4 years ago, I started with the low-hanging fruit, the easy projects. And then I've progressed to the medium projects. Now I'm at the point of my career that there's not much easy and medium projects left. So now I have to tackle the harder projects. And the solution is not easy. It takes multiple steps. And those leaks I mentioned about this building, those leaks will not be an easy fix. It will require multiple steps in order to fix those problems. But like I said, we're headed in the right direction. We have an engineer that's looked into one of the problems, and they have a vendor that they feel like can meet that need. And then on another leak on the other side of the building, we have been discussions with some plumbers, and in my opinion, it's half a roofing issue and half a plumbing issue. And I've met with several plumbing companies and roofing companies, and they've put their heads together and they've come up with a good solution for this building. Like I said, it won't be an easy fix, and I've decided to tackle this at the end of my time, because I didn't want to start the hard projects first. I wanted to start with the low-hanging fruit. We also are upgrading the lighting at the social services building. It's a slow process. I've swallowed my pride. I was hoping to get the upgrades finished, but because we've been pulled in other projects, I've decided to swallow my pride and go around and change the light bulbs until we get the upgrades finished. One of the things that's pulled us away from completing some of these upgrades is selling the property on McLaurin Street. My staff has spent a few weeks cleaning that building out and listing it on GovDeals. Starting bid was $40,000, and as of right now, we have 6 bids, and the highest bid is $42,500. The closing date, I think, is November 21st. We're also in the process of cleaning out the red and blue building at the old water department. That's taken several weeks to go through those buildings and trying to determine what is trash, what needs to be thrown away, what's scrap metal that can be taken to Marshville, and what needs to be sold on GovDeals, trying to separate that out. That's been a long process. I sent out an email to all department heads 2 weeks ago stating that if you have any immediate needs, reach out to me directly, and I will address those needs because my staff is going to be busy cleaning out those buildings. In the 25-26 budget process. Oh, let me mention one more thing. We are still pumping the gas out of the tank at the old water department, and we've got it slightly under 3,000 gallons. When we started this process, we were close to 8,000 or 9,000. So we're making progress. We've had a few delays in that, but we're making progress. And once we get the tank empty, then we'll put that site up for sale on GovDeals. and the GovDeals vendor, Jesse Howard, has suggested a starting bid at $50,000.
How many acres does that property have, Mr. Small?
I had that property card with me all day, and I set it down before I came to the meeting. I'll have to get back to you on that.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
My reaction was $50,000 seems awful weak and low for that property.
Yes, and we haven't moved forward with the sale, the putting it up for sale. So I'm welcome for more input before we just determine a starting price.
All right, thank you.
But Jesse Howard, our contact, that was his suggested. He felt that we needed to go a little bit higher than what we did for the McLaurin Street.
Thank you, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
It
Thank
just
you.
blurted out. It just came out.
Yes. I appreciate it. I appreciate your feedback. And I will address that. But in the fiscal year 25-26 budget process that usually starts in February, goes through the year until June, until the board votes on the proposed budget. I had met with the finance director and the county manager to go over my priorities for the next couple years, and I listed them by priority. The ones that were in bold were the ones that I was going to ask for in the current year budget. The ones that were not in bold, I was going to wait. And just to read over a few of those in front of me, detention center, slide devices, cell block B, government center stormwater project, government center access control project, law enforcement building, stairs and ramp, accessible ramp project, courthouse access control, social services fire alarm, detention center water valve replacements, social services access control, social services sewer line replacement, social services storage room renovations, law enforcement seal coat and stripe parking lot, government center sewer line replacement, elections intrusion alarm, library new roof, government annex gate operator, Grace seal coat and stripe parking lot, health department 4 new service windows, animal shelter floor and wall resurface project. For fiscal year 26-27, that this is the plan that I presented to the county manager and finance director back in March or April. It stated that we would look into more personnel for Parks and Recreation facilities, a new HVAC unit for social service for unit number 3, a new unit for the IT server room on the second floor of this building, replacing the HVAC unit for the commissioner's room, paving the parking lot at Little Park, new entrance gate for Little Park, replacing the R22 units, slide devices for C Block, the government annex, replacing those 2 generators, the generator for this building that controls finance and the IT department, and various office renovations, and then animal shelter rear kennel project. Since I've met with them, if we've gone through the budget process, all of our capital outlay projects were removed. And I respect and understand that we're on the LGC's unit list, and we have to balance our budget by state law because of our revenues. And I understand why projects were removed, but we do have a lot of old buildings and we do have a lot of needs. So I want to let you know that some of these projects have already been completed, such as the access control project at the courthouse, striping the parking lot at the sheriff's office, the intrusion alarm at Board of Elections, the 4 service windows at the health department. And like I said, we're in progress for the 2 water leaks in this building. I also want to bring to your attention that we use to communicate with department heads and staff on building issue needs. We have a service request system called Help Desk. The IT department uses it, we use it, HR uses it for all service requests. For many years, we had the old 400 system, and it was taken down through the ransomware attack. So I can't go into how many requests that we completed under the old system, but I can tell you what we've completed on the new system. So since I've been director around July of 2021, we have received 672 service requests. Currently, and this is a moving number, we have 632 requests closed, 10 requests that are still open, 9 are currently pending, 8 are not budgeted, 7 are canceled, and 6 of them are on hold. And most likely they're on hold because parts are not available or there's not enough money in their budget to make those repairs. And the last thing that I would like to touch on before any questions from the board is because our capital outlay budget was removed this year in the fiscal year 25-26, I've gone through the list of priorities, and there's 3 projects that I've identified that I would like for the board to consider funding in this current budget year. And if that's not possible, I'm more than welcome to submit it again in the fiscal year 26-27 budget process or budget cycle. I've reached out to several vendors and I've received several responses from them for these projects, but I've only received 1 quote for each project at this time. The first project is the detention center at the law enforcement building. They have a out-of-date intercom system that's close to 30 or 40 years old, and it's currently not working. And the state inspector inspects the detention center twice a year, and every time we're inspected, they ding us for that. And that's something that we need to replace as soon as possible. I've got the blessing of the Sheriff's Department and Captain Green that's over the detention center, but it was not included in this current budget year, and I would like to request funding for this current year. The second project is the fire alarm for the Department of Social Services. They went through a bid process and selected a company to install a new fire alarm. The company came in and did an assessment before they started upgrading, and in that assessment, they discovered they didn't price it correctly. So Ms. Jackson asked, what should she do in that situation? And she was told to put the new amount in the fiscal 24-25 budget cycle. And she did, and it was removed, just like all the other capital outlay projects. The last request is access control for this building, the government center. The current system was installed by Estridge Lock and Key many years ago, before I was even involved in facilities, and the current system is failing. And I would prefer to do like we've done with the other buildings with the IT department, where they've upgraded the access control to the Belt building, the courthouse, the annex, and the AX building. And I would request funding for that as well. The amounts that I'm asking for of the 3 projects totals $115,000. The intercom system will be around $60,000. the fire alarm around 30,000, and the access control for this building will be around 25,000. And like I said, it totals, my total request for this fiscal year 24-25 for these projects is $115,000. And if after consideration you feel like this needs to be delayed till next fiscal year 26-27, I will definitely include it in the next budget cycle. And that's all I have for tonight. I hope you've appreciated the information I have provided, and I am appreciative of the board, of your support of myself and of my staff. And if you have any questions, I'm willing to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll definitely respond back to you as soon as possible.
All right, any questions for Mr. Small at this time?
I'd like to thank him for a very thorough report. It's very detailed and
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the report. I got a lot of writing over here,
Yes, sir.
so I appreciate it.
Of course.
And thank you for your service, Mr. Winters. You do a good job. You go above and beyond your responsibility, because I done seen you many days work after 5 o'clock, and you don't find that many people that want to do that, but I do appreciate you doing it.
Yes, ma'am. I try to support my staff through leading by example. If they see me working, they're going to want to work as well. Any more questions?
Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Again, I appreciate the thorough report.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody at home heard me too.
Thank you for speaking into the mic.
Yes, sir.
All right, up next we have, under appearances, we have Mr. Brendan Gibbons, our Veterans Day ceremony.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Commissioners, and everyone here in the crowd, and you at home, folks. I'll make sure I look the right one. I'll try to make two promises tonight. Number one, that I'll make this as quick as I can, and number two, that I will not ask you for any funding. Okay?
I like it already.
Right. I had a feeling you'd like that. First of all, I'd just like to let everybody know, in case they're unaware, we did get a grant. The Veterans Department did get a grant this year, so we put in for one for the state. Sorry. And we did get a grant for over $18,000, which we were able to utilize and spend to help the veterans within Anson County. We're lucky to have just completed that and submitted the paperwork to the state, and we also did put in for another one. So hopefully that would come through again, and it would definitely helps the veterans in the county. Other than that, I'd also like to bring up the due that Veterans Day is coming up next week, we will be having the Veterans Day ceremony on Tuesday, November 11th, on the 11th day, the 11th hour, located inside of Wadesboro City Park. I think if you haven't seen it already, we did put out some advertising in the local newspapers a lot, and they're outside, and I think you got them in an email. We'd love to have everybody come. Any of the veterans that would like to come, we're going to have a brief little ceremony. Been working with the Anson County Veterans Council as well as the local VFW, and we have our AMVETS coming as well. So it should be a nice short little ceremony. We will also have some refreshments afterwards. So we will have some hamburgers and hot dogs, and hopefully we will have some nice weather. So that'll be inside the park right afterwards. We also have a local veteran, Kevin Marshall, a Marine veteran, who's going to be our guest speaker. So he'll also be there. So we'd love to. I know there are a lot of veterans here on the board, as well as probably in the audience, and we'd love to have everyone come. I know everyone's off that day, but it would be nice to see a lot of people show up. So if you can and you're free, we'd love to have more people coming. Other than that, I think if anybody has any questions for me, as I promised, I would make this nice and short and sweet.
Yes, sir, Mr. Woodward.
just one, and I apologize for not getting with you earlier, so it may be a little late for this year, but something I'd like for you to keep in mind. I think you're probably familiar with it, the Green Light Project that started,
I believe they started that not only here but in other counties,
Yes.
And I was unaware that the county was actually doing it. As we know, there was no one here prior when I got here, and I
Right,
kind of
right.
walked in. So I'm trying to work with what I have. And I believe the Green Light Project was getting it out there. I know you had spoken to Wendell. He had come to me about where he was going to set up some of the lights, and him and I have spoken about it.
Okay.
As the facilities manager, as we know, he's on top of everything. So he actually did come and speak to me after he spoke to you.
Okay.
And we did speak. I'm sorry, I don't know if you have any other questions besides that.
All right, thank you. No, I don't.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Gibbons?
Mr. Gibbons, I know it's going to be a beautiful day on Veterans Day. I've looked at the forecast. It looks great. But what if it's the downpour? What is your backup plan?
Well, the backup plan is there is coverage there inside the park. So there is an area, 2 areas, I should say, that we can put people, which is where we were the last time on Memorial Day. We did have people underneath. It didn't rain that day, but there is an area inside that is covered so that people can stay out of the rain if it does rain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us a little more about the $18,000 grant that you received. How did you obtain it, and what can you use it for?
Well, there are, that's another one of the problems that we kind of had. You know, the state basically said, there's a grant out here, we applied for it. I submitted the paperwork, the county manager, we signed off on it. They didn't really tell us what we could spend it on. They kind of told us most things that we can't. We were fortunate enough that I can email you, if you'd like, I'll send out a list of the things that we did spend it on. A lot of it is also for education. So one of the big things we were also able to do was a new computer for the office. So some of those higher end items that we needed to have done, I was able to readjust the funding so that we were able to use the grant to pay for it and not the county funds.
All right, thank you.
Just a note, I'm assuming you have met Mr. Shaver with Congressman Harris's office. That's probably a valuable resource to have for the veterans of this county.
We will be speaking again before I leave tonight, Chair.
Thank you. So, thank you, Mr. Shaver. Any other questions for Mr. Gibbons?
Marine Corps. Hoorah! November 10th.
Absolutely. Yep.
I know I will be. You'll definitely hear us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Okay, up next on our appearances, we have Ms. Lula Jackson, our Department of Social Services Director.
Good evening, Chairman and Board of Commissioners, County Manager, Attorney, Ms. Marina. I am here to give you an update on the DSNAP FNS program. It's been a long day. I'll do what I need to, or what I would like to make you aware of is that on probably mid-October, we were informed that based on the federal shutdown, there was a probability that FNS benefits would not be issued for November. We received information that verified that there would not be SNAP, they say SNAP, FNS benefits issued for the month of November. That was a meeting on October the 30th, where the state was saying that there would not be benefits for November. On November 3rd, we received notification that there may be partial funds available, but they did not know at what percent. Today, we received notification that FNS benefits will be issued at 50% of allotments. When those benefits will be issued is still questionable because the NC FAST system that eligibility is determined in has to be tweaked so that it issues only half of the benefits and not the full benefit amount. Then once it happens in the NC FAST system, then it has to go to FIZ, which will then go to the EBT. All of that will take place between now and November 8th. So we know that it will be after November 8th before anything is issued. Benefits are issued or placed on cards on odd number days of the month. So the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th, individuals that would normally have received benefits have not received benefits for this month, but will receive a partial allocation sometime after the 8th of November. There was question as to whether or not administrative funds would be available to reimburse for the FNS staff doing the work, because we are still required to complete applications and recertifications and process them within the same time frame. So there will be administrative funds available for staff that do those activities or work requirements. And that will be at a 50% reimbursement rate currently, as of November the 4th at 6:41 p.m. That could change by tomorrow morning. So I'm reporting what is most current. So that's an overview of where we are. We have talked with some of the food banks in the county as a referral for customers that come in needing assistance. What food banks have said is that they will provide what they have available as long as they have it available. Some of you may have seen the interview that was done with Feed My Lambs Ministry and their short supply. So that's kind of what we have going on across the county, but the organizations are willing to serve as long as they have food available. Do you have any questions for me? I have Ms. Broadway here, who is the expert, if you have specific questions.
I have one just retaining to that.
Yes.
Is there a resource list that could be put on our website or made available to the public to notify them of available resources like Feed My Lambs or other crisis ministries?
Yes, we have that information on our DSS Facebook page. We can post it on the county website. What we do want to emphasize is that the organizations will provide as long as they have food available, because we don't want it to be that just because their name is there, that means that they're going to be able to provide and meet all of the needs.
Sure. So I just think it'd be valuable for the citizens who need that to know where to find a resource list, where to go
Right,
look
and with
for
the
it.
information that is on the DHHS website in reference to the federal shutdown, and there's a 211 contact number and also a listing of food banks that are available in the different areas.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, Ms. Jackson, will you be listing all the updates that you're getting from the state in reference to SNAP and all that stuff?
I will, what I try to do is to send them out as swiftly as I can. I have not been able to send out what came in on today. When you say, so it is posted on that DHHS website. So there's a link to that website, and we can post the information that we receive, the letters that we receive from DHHS. So it wouldn't actually be the letter, but it would be the information that they send out that can be shared with the general public, because they are doing mass mailings and emails and text messages to recipients as well. Other questions?
Well, not a question, but you can confirm this if you can. I read a report that says 25 to 30% of Anson County citizens receive SNAP benefits or food stamps. Is that approximately correct?
That's approximately correct. Ms. Broadway, do you have that demographic information in reference to the total that we have for Anson County?
Okay.
So for October, 5,852 participants in
Between
Anson County.
25 and 30%. So we're going to have a lot of citizens hurting if we can't get them back to 100% ASAP,
That's correct. That's correct.
especially coming up on the holiday season. And Mr. Trump, I hope you hear me.
There are, contrary to popular belief, everyone that receives food stamp benefits does not abuse those benefits. There are families, children that receive those benefits that use them for the purpose that they are intended. Also, a vast majority of our food and nutrition recipients work part-time, have earned income, either unearned or earned. Some of them work 2 and 3 part-time positions, but with minimum wage and their family size, they still qualify for benefits. So
At one time, we had county employees that qualified for SNAP benefits. Have
we
moved-
currently have,
You currently have county employees that qualify for SNAP benefits?
yes,
I was hoping you said we'd move beyond that point.
not quite.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you. Do.
42 million. Yeah, it's 1.4 million for North Carolina.
It's absolutely insane. And, I have talked to some of the food bank providers, and they've all indicated they're reaching out to try to secure more funds to be able to produce more product. But it's gonna be a chore, because as Commissioner Gatewood said, we're here. Thanksgiving's, what, 3 weeks away
3
essentially?
weeks away,
And then
yes.
Christmas is about 4 after that, so and it's obviously getting cold weather. How is the, weatherization money, though, for providing heat? Do we have
The
any of
heating
that?
assistance program has been funded. Those letters have been sent out for those populations that are 60 and older, and they will be they've received notification that they are automatically eligible, but they do have paperwork that they have to turn back in so we can update and make sure that they receive their benefits in December. I think, what was the amount for LEAP that we received, do you recall? So 164,000 that will be used for heating assistance in Anson County.
And it was strange last week, because when you were receiving your Dear Director letter,
Yes,
I was on the phone with our folks with the NCACC, and that, the North Carolina County Commissioners Association. And they had 2 of the officials from DHHS there giving the managers the same negative news that you were receiving by email.
that's correct. Well,
Sad but true.
yeah, so there was a director's call on the 30th. Yes, that was that Thursday afternoon. And they gave it to us verbally, and then we received it in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank
Good
you.
re-
All right,
very good.
any other
Anything
questions
else?
for Ms. Jackson?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the report.
Thank you very much.
All right, that concludes our appearances for tonight. So we're going to move into our public addresses to the board. So there shall be a time set aside at each regular meeting of the board for public comment. Each citizen who wishes to speak during this time must sign up on a sign-up sheet prior to the start of the meeting. Each citizen shall be allowed 3 minutes for their presentation. All citizens are expected to follow proper decorum and shall not use profanity nor defamatory speech. The public is expected to remain seated except when leaving the room. Only presenters listed on the agenda or recognized by the chairman will be called to the podium to address the board. Commissioners are expected not to comment on matters brought to the board during this time, but to delay action or comment until staff has had an opportunity to research the subject matter and to report necessary and relevant information to all members of the board. So this time, I'm going to call Mr. Tony Williams to the podium.
Good evening, Chairman,
Good evening.
Board of Commissioners. I am Tony Williams. I am employed with Anson County Water Filtration Department here in Anson County. I have come this evening to, I guess, talk about an issue that's been ongoing for almost 2 years now, and that is our access into the lagoons that we have on Clark Mountain Road. We have to go down there every week to get samples, and we're not able to go through the gate that's blocking our entrance because another landowner owns that particular land. I think it's Anson Contractor who owns the land or who bought the land. And because of some issues between him and the county, then we're not able to access that property. We have to walk down there in order to get our sample. It's approximately 300 to 400 yards that we have to walk to accrue the samples. We have to send them off to the state. Amen. It's a third-party agency that do our sampling, and that information goes to the state. But we've been doing it, even though we've been walking. Like I said, it's been 2 years now. And I come to see what can be done about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your bringing this to our attention. We are aware of it. We have been working on a negotiation with the current landowner. We actually met just 2 weeks ago with a landowner to work on acquiring access to that property. So we are working, trying to get something in place to where you can get access to driving a vehicle to the lagoon.
I think another thing that was brought up, that the county purchasing a four-wheeler so we won't have to walk but have access to ride. There is opening that a four-wheeler will go down there.
Yes, sir, and I think that goes back to the easement access that we have to address if we're going to be taking a vehicle on the property. And so that's part of the negotiations we've been having with the attorney and the landowner on how to get access to that facility.
If you're a county employee, if you would talk to your department head about this and let him see if he couldn't do something about it, that'd probably be a little bit better venue on this. I mean, if you
I have.
Okay, you've talked to him and he hasn't done anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he brought it to the
If you would
board,
like to call me, if you would like to call me outside of here, I'd be more than happy to talk with you about it.
and I welcome all the commissioners to come down and see how far we have to walk. I think Mr. Sessamon, he's been down there, so he know what I'm talking about.
Multiple times.
Yes, sir. We are currently working on trying to get access to that lagoon through multiple channels.
Right, and the chairman's correct, Tony. We've, within the last 2 weeks, we have met with property owners, taking a look and seeing if we can get the easement to give you better access to it. And also, a commissioner, I won't call her name, has brought up the need for the four-wheeler to provide access. So the board's been advised, they're aware of it, and they'll have to make a decision. But the landowner has to make a decision, and we took a walk in the woods, I guess you might say, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman.
So that was 2 weeks ago. So we hope to have a resolution in place very soon on that.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, up next we have Mr. Charles Holly.
This one is.
Is this mic on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Again, I've been here on this subject before, and I'm going to come back on it again because I feel like it's very important. Duke Energy is planning to bring more than 3,400 megawatts of new solar across the state of North Carolina through legislation. These projects have to go somewhere. I've spoken to y'all before about red zone projects and how there's 2 in the county. So again, I come back and I'm asking, does this mean there's more coming? We need to know. And the reason why we need to know, we have fire safety, emergency response, our water infrastructure, and other issues that we need to make sure we have clear. Now, if that's already done, so be it. I just want to bring that up. It means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holly.
Appreciate that, Mr. Holly. I can address that. To my knowledge, as of tonight, I do not know of another solar project that is being proposed in this county other than the one that's going to be heard on Thursday. But we have not, none of this board has been made aware of any other project other than the ones presented tomorrow night, or Thursday night. So, but I appreciate your input there. Okay, that concludes our public addresses to the board. So we're going to move on to our manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few items tonight. The first one, as the board knows, we had to reapply to the state to have our North Carolina DMV, or most people call it license plate agency contract, extended. The expiration date on it was this coming February of 2026. We were awarded a new contract. The previous one was for 3 years. This one's for an 8-year time frame, starting on Valentine's Day of 2026. And for those who are not aware of it, it's February 14th, Joe. And so from that point forward, 8 years, we'll have that contract renewed. And if there's any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer any, but it's pretty much straightforward to tell, the state tells us, and we use, for those who don't know, sometimes if everybody else's computers are working and DMV, the LPA is not, it's because the state system is down, and we have to use their system, obviously. So I'll be glad to answer any questions on that. The second one is one that also ought to be near and dear to Tony's heart, but I know it's near and dear to Joe Charlton's heart, and I call it water infrastructure intrusion. I have mentioned this to Mr. Forbes because, as you know, a few years ago, we had a industry here in the county that at different times, and it happened more and more often, were dumping a product that they process or receive to process on the streets, which meant we had to clean them up. Mr. Forbes and the board came up with a process to apply a fine on a basis for those spills. And miraculously, they've gotten better, and I hope they stay that way, because it's not, that's not good for our staff, because it's dangerous, and it's also not good for the public. But when a water line gets busted, for whatever reason, and I know some of them's not different contractors' fault, some of it's because of our aging infrastructure. Like this past weekend, we had a line that I believe was built back about 1967 or 8. So if you do the math, it's about 50 years old.
58.
So, and lines normally don't last that long. Is my mic working okay? All right, thanks. Excuse me, but what I'm suggesting is if the board would agree to it, when these, if Mr. Forbes could do some research to see if we could apply the same type of mechanism from a legal perspective to apply fines, because now what you're supposed to do before you dig is you're supposed to call the different agencies that have infrastructure located in those areas. Now, whether these folks are calling or not, I don't know. But we've had it happen multiple times. As a matter of fact, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, some of you probably know, a 20 or 24-inch line was drilled into, and we had water out on West 74. It's almost like a geyser, Old Faithful, shooting all the way across 74. So again, what happens there is it's a public safety issue, because you're making roads wet that weren't previously wet, and they're maybe 100 yards away from it. They're not, and a citizen hits it. Plus, if they go through that type of situation, that water's under pressure, so that's why it shoots that far. Plus, we have to clean it up, and the citizens, or maybe I should say they're not just citizens, they're not just taxpayers, they're also ratepayers for the water that they use. So then they're out of water. And sometimes we have to issue a boil water notice, and the citizens also usually will have to go to a local grocery store or convenience store and buy bottled water to use if they would rather feel like they're more safe that way. So that's my recommendation, is that if you could ask Mr. Forbes to take a look at coming up with a process to levy fines, if that's legal.
I don't even know that we need to levy fines. We probably should just sue them for what they're doing and put them on notice. I'll be glad to contact them. Probably have them contacted by tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Because what they did is, negligence.
They are being negligent in their
Correct.
duty. And that is why I've asked the manager to have our utility department comprise a list over the last 45 days of all of the what I call water issues, line breakages, whether they were faulty equipment or damage due to contractors. I would like to see a report of all of those damages, what caused the damage, and if that contractor has been billed, and if that contractor has paid that fine yet. Because if they've not paid that fine, we're going to address it in a more stern matter than just sending them a bill. But yes, we do have aging equipment, which leads to a lot of issues, but a lot of it is not our aging equipment. A lot of it is negligence on the contractor's fault, and I think they need to be held accountable for it.
When they put a drill bit through it, that's not aging equipment, you're right.
Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Elder.
So are you asking for us to, I guess, make a motion in that regard to permit the attorney?
Correct.
All right.
I'll make that motion.
So I make, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'll make that motion that we investigate and see what,
Investigate,
see
come
what,
up with a
yeah.
corrective action, and also, I'd like to add to that, if you're okay, Commissioner Ellerby, to have something in place that applies to the future. You know, this is not a one-time thing, it's ongoing, so
Right.
have a, I guess, for lack of a better term, a procedure in place where whenever this happens, that procedure takes over and our costs are reimbursed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with everything that you said, and so we'll get to the motion. I question myself why it's taking this long to get something put in place. If somebody's doing damage to my equipment, I'm going to find a reason to stop it or make them accountable. So I question why we've not done this prior to tonight. But yes, I agree. So we have a motion by Commissioner Ellerby to move forward with an investigation into the water infrastructure intrusion and develop a corrective action plan to get it corrected. And we have a second by Commissioner Little Reed, Commissioner Woodburn. Any other discussion on that?
What about, can we add, that if they don't pay the fine, that they can't do any more work in Anson County? Is that something we can do?
I think that belongs with the investigation to figure out whatever means we can go.
Okay.
Just so you know, even as early as the Saturday that the busted pipe happened, Mr. Saltzman, or Manager Saltzman, had called, and we had talked about doing whether we should do fines or whether we should do a lawsuit. I told him we would do the lawsuit. We've been looking into that, and we were trying to get the damages of what it would cost. I don't even know if they're through. I know they patched it, but they haven't fixed it yet, have they?
I don't think so. Well,
That's what I was.
yeah, we're getting a nod right here from the guy who's in charge of the crews, and so. But it's frustrating for the citizens, because I know you all get calls. I get calls, and it's not an easy fix. I mean, if you think about a 24-inch line, there's a lot of water under pressure being pushed through that line in order to deliver it, and it inconveniences the citizens. It inconveniences our staff. So I think we've got some folks here in this room that work in the water and utilities that work almost 24/7, if they're not 24/7, and it's tough duty.
There is. You've got business owners who rely on the water
Right.
to run their business. So yes, it affects everyone, and it needs to be corrected.
And you and I both know we've been contacted by a couple of business owners who have had problems because of that very fact.
That's
and
correct.
when they can't produce, they're not making money. If they're not making money, makes it difficult for them to employ people.
That's correct. So, okay, any other discussion on that investigation? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board. Next item is something we've been working on for a few years, and it's the opioid settlement fund. That's obviously a class action fund that we got involved in, Mr. Forrest, 4 years ago, plus or minus?
That's about right.
And we had to develop strategies, if you will, in terms of the expenditures. And Joe and Tony, I'd love to use it for water and sewer, but unfortunately, it's restricted to opioid. And you had to identify several strategies in order to use it. The first strategy is recovery support services, and we've come to you on a quarterly basis for awards, and people have to actually apply. We do get monitored by the state, so they tell us, and those services are provided by a local ministry by the name of Safer Communities. The second one is for addiction treatment for those who are incarcerated. And I'm scrolling through my agenda here, and again, Safer Communities, because they have that outreach to our local detention center, they provide those type services. And then you've got several other strategies involved. The next one is naloxone. as you know, that's probably one of the most effective treatments for people that have overdosed on opioids. Because if you don't treat them, and we actually have our local hospital, Atrium, that provides the training. The county, we distribute it, we purchase it through Amazon. I shouldn't do that as an ad, but that's where right now the price is right, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So we provide it to the hospital. They distribute it, and so Commissioner Mims knows that the sheriff's office has it, and we've provided it to the rescue squad, if I'm not mistaken, and some other entities. We'll keep doing that. Treatment and recovery is your fourth strategy. And these were all outlined in the protocols we have to follow. There's a group called Another Ministry, if you will, that works not just in our county, but also in Stanley, Union, and Cabarrus, and they're called Bridge to Recovery. I think some of you probably are familiar with that operation and some of its officials. Your fifth strategy is outlined as recovery support services. And again, and then that one is actually administered by Samaritan's Colony. And your sixth strategy is collaborative strategic planning. And I think this one came to us initially from Ms. Jackson, and it's the Tri-County Child Advocacy Center that we utilize. And that's an ongoing operation. So far, we've submitted all of our reports to our finance department, and we've come out clean on all of them. So far, the amount of opioid settlement funds that have been appropriated by just Anson County for those six strategies I just outlined is $386,169. And I need to get you to adopt a resolution, and then we'll be submitting that to the state to make sure that they're happy with our progress so far.
Okay, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution of the opioid committee settlement funds.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Ellaby, second by Commissioner Gatewood, several. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And Mr. Chairman, last but not least, I think this has been brought up to you before by Commissioner Little Reed, the Waitsboro Christmas Parade, and there's an entry form to any of those that might want to enter to either walk, ride. Maybe Commissioner Ellaby might want to have a float. But and maybe we should think about that for next year as a county project, just an idea. I've seen it done in other places where the towns and cities in different counties and the county itself, they'll have a competition to see who can develop the best Christmas themed float. But this year the parade's going to be starting at 5:30 p.m. on December the 4th, which happens to be a Thursday. And so that's the application for any organization that you may be aware of that might want to participate in that parade. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I know Commissioner Little Reed's been involved in it with discussion, so she can probably answer more than I can.
Okay. Any discussion on the Christmas parade? December 4th, 5:30. All right. Any other, that concludes your report?
That's all the items I had tonight, unless the board has any questions or something they want to bring up and address.
All right. Any concerns for the manager at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Under Chairman's report, I was going to bring up about the water infrastructure, the report that I requested. So already covered that. So we're going to move on to Commissioner concerns. Open the floor for commissioners.
I got a concern, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not me personally. I got a couple calls, and I got approached about the conversation you had with the two departments heads. I want to piggyback off of what Reverend Randy said, that we need to make sure that we do things decent and in order. I'm not getting on anybody. I just want to make sure that we treat people the way we want to be treated. And I just want to read this. We need to make sure that there's a productive relationship with everyone. With that being said, the tone towards department heads during our last meeting came off a little aggressive and wasn't an effective way to communicate. as commissioners, we need to ensure that all our communication is professional and respectful, not trying to point finger at one person. I'm just saying whenever we talking to the public, because they're the reason we're here, we need to make sure that we be respectful and professional in whatever we do.
All right, thank you for that.
And I
Yeah,
pick
Mr.
it back
Evans?
off, I had that concern, but so she kind of covered it, so, I did feel that it was out of order and out of line, considering that was an opportunity for a report to be given. And it appeared as if they were given a mandate and a list of expectations, by a commissioner versus their, supervisor, direct supervisor would be the county manager that we hire. So I kind of figured that was kind of out of line as it pertains to that conversation in general, because they was asked to be on the agenda to give a report, and they wound up getting scolded publicly concerning their job, and I just thought that was not becoming or the authority of one set commissioner to do that to county employees.
Okay, I appreciate that. I hope this board demands that our manager, as well as our department heads, demand that the performance of the departments ensures the best efficient method of whatever job they're doing in this county. And that's all I was trying to do.
I agree, sir. I agree. Probably about a month ago, we had our water cut off too. And the first thing I did, I'm like, well, I mean, what's happened? What didn't happen? It was a group of people working on the road, and they cut the line. And I brought that to the board, and I was telling you that they cut the line, and they was responsible for it. And that's when we brought up about doing something to the people whenever the line get cut. So we had already mentioned it. We just hadn't done it. We hadn't started doing anything about it. Because when I brought that to the board, we said then that we was gonna start charging or doing something so they couldn't continue to do it and just get away with it and not have no repercussions behind it. So with that being said, whenever they cut our water, whenever they cut our line, the first thing that came to my mind, oh my water's off. So what I did, I called Chris. I'm like, Chris, you know what's going on with the water? He said one of the contractors had cut the line. He couldn't tell me when it was coming back on or anything like that, but he did whenever the water came, whenever they were getting ready to turn the water back on, he did contact me and say, well, Commissioner Reed, they're gonna cut it on in about 20 minutes, and it did come back on. So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to do anything, say anything to you. I'm just saying, this is all of us. It's not just you, it's all of us. We're leading our community, so we got to make sure we're professional in what we do. I'm not trying to just do you, it's everybody.
I agree. Everybody, every department head, every manager, everybody should do their job.
And I want to be clear that I agree with you that we should expect that out of them.
Yeah.
However, this board has hired a county manager to manage the county as it pertains to personnel. And I just felt that if I was working as a director of the water department, that would have been a huge problem for me. Because now if this had been an issue brought to the board and the board had a discussion about it and we communicated to our county manager for our county manager to address those directors, I thought that would have been all the way in line. But I don't think me as one commissioner nor any other one commissioner has the authority to speak to any employee and give them a list of mandates of what they expect. And I am saying it directly because it was a concern of mine, because I vowed to speak up for the citizens here, employees and all, and I just didn't think that was right. That's all.
Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, I do have another concern, and that is, what is the status of the state's 2025 budget?
It's my understanding from talking to several senators as well as House members is that they may not go back into session until January. And so obviously, they don't have one now. They passed, just like the House and the Senate are trying to do in Washington, do a continuing resolution just to keep it going. And so that's what they're doing now. I've also heard, they're still having committee meetings, but I'm not sure they're accomplishing much. And I'm glad you brought that up, because also I checked yesterday, and the information that we need to have submitted from the local government commission for our auditors to complete our audit has not been accomplished. And that affects not just Anson County, but all other 99 counties, as well as all the cities and towns. I think there's 550 some plus cities and towns in the state. So all of us are waiting. They did extend the deadline from October 31 to December 31. So right now, by their new rules and regulations, we're not late. But we've done everything we can do. We just need that latest information in terms of how they want it submitted.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And again, I wish we had the budget, because that's going, if they don't get it done till then, you heard Mr. Small earlier say we usually start our budget work, as you all know, in February. So if they don't go back into session to January, the good Lord only knows when they'll adopt the budget. And until that happens, that's got everybody, particularly when it comes to stuff like revenue sharing, the SNAP program, the WIC program, you name it. Maybe, and at some point in time, it may affect our transportation, the ACTS program.
Yes, sir. I'll just piggyback off that. Last conversation I had with some senators was that don't look for a budget before springtime. So I don't think they're going to do anything on the quick on that.
One thing I did find out that we're not anywhere near that shape, but the city of Winston-Salem, probably at 25% or so of their annual budget, particularly when it comes to things like transportation and public housing, has been adversely affected by the federal government. And so they're looking at making some drastic cuts, which will be a lot worse than us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Any other commissioner concerns? Yes, sir, Mr. Wood.
Not a concern, just for information. On tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, President Stacy Waters Bailey, the new president of South Piedmont College, will be installed. So we're invited. Please come out if you can.
Is that in Monroe?
I was going to
It's
say,
in Monroe. It's in Building A. When you turn off of Old Charlotte Highway, it's the first building on the left.
all right. Thank you for that reminder. Any other commissioner concerns? All right. Hearing none, we do have item for closed session to discuss with our county attorney. So I'll entertain a motion to enter into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Little Reed to enter into closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Well heeled. I kind of like that.
Motion to come out of closed session.
All right, we have a motion to come out of closed session by Commissioner Woodburn, second by Commissioner Ellaby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're now back in public session. Any other business? All right. We have a
Second.
motion to adjourn by Commissioner Ellaby, second by Commissioner Little Reed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.